What if instead of watching the Grinch movie, you had to steal Christmas and then put it all back using only a standard deck of cards? Hi, I'm Kendall, and this is Grinch Solitaire, a spatial puzzle about stealing Christmas and putting it all back. In this solo game, you take on the role of the Grinch himself, and you play through two phases. In the first phase, you sneak through Whoville, stealing gifts one house at a time. And in the second phase, you reverse course, returning every gift before the night is over. Setup is quick. You split the deck by color, and then you remove a few specific cards just to create tension. And you set aside the 10 of spades and the 10 of hearts. These are used to track the Grinch's heart. And then you shuffle the red deck, the Whoville deck, and the black deck, the Grinch deck. Each turn, you draw 4 Whoville cards to form a Whoville house. And you form it into a square with a little chimney in the middle. These pips represent the presents you have to steal. And then you always have a hand of 2 Grinch cards. And you replenish after you play one. And you have to use the Grinch cards to cover the pips. But there is a spatial rule that you have to spread across 2 cards at least. So in this case, I could not do something like this. So with the 4, you can cover up to 4 pips. So I could cover all 3 of these and one there. That would be a legal move. The face cards represent the Whos that are sleeping, and you can only cover one of their 2 pips. One of them represents a present they're, cuddled up with or something, and the other one is their sugar plum dream that would wake them up. So I could play something like this. That would be legal. Aces actually can cover 2 pips because you have to be able to do that. So it could do something like this. There are 2 exceptions to this rule that you have to spread across 2 cards, and that is the Jack and the King. The queens are removed, but the Jack represents your trusty helper Max. He can cover up to 3 pips. And again, he doesn't have to follow the spatial rule. And then the King represents you as the Grinch. And you can ignore that spatial rule. You also can cover up to 6 pips. So as you're playing and you can't cover certain pips, say you're able to do this, but you couldn't cover any more because this can't stretch across. So you would have to use up some of your heart or lose heart. So you would not lose this. That one you have to leave where it is, the sugar plum dream, but you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. And so you have 20 heart that you're tracking. You start with the cold heart, and then later you progress to the growing heart. So you use these in similar games I've done where if you're covering 4, you could just do it like that. And then you end up switching as you need to. If you ever run out of heart, then the night is over and you failed. At the end of each phase, there will be 1 final card left over. And the way this works is you would get down to your final hand and flip over that card. In the first phase, this represents the Whoville Square. And no matter how quiet things get, you can never fully cover this card. It has to be placed adjacent. So you could place it here, for example. And if you had something in your hand, you could cover some of that, but you can't extinguish all of the Christmas spirit kind of thing. Then that would end the first phase. On the final phase, the card would come out. This represents the feast. And if you manage to cover it completely, then you have carved the roast beast. And with this game, there's optional difficulty adjustments. There's scoring tiers that tell you, different endings to the story, and a bonus achievement of carving the roast beast. If you want the full rules, they're available to my Substack subscribers. So check the description for the link. And if you enjoy thoughtful solo games with minimal components, a like and subscription really helps more people find these kinds of projects. So thanks for watching. Let me know how well you did and whether you managed to carve the roast beast. Thanks.